the college football Super League going to happen?
Well, the Super League's dead.
Now, I would remind you, I'm always right.
Right. We know that.
I'm good looking. And your mom constantly talks about hitting that. Okay, we're all on the same page here on a Wednesday.
Macaque.
All right? Okay. So did you see the update to this story? In all seriousness, the Sportico had an article. Now, they didn't quote me directly or give me credit. Did you guys read the Sportico article? The Sportico article? Say that fast 10 times. Apparently, you guys, Sportico is reporting that there will be 70 teams. Uh-oh.
Where?
Somebody do a wellness check on OG Gary because it ain't going to be 84.
Have you guys heard that number before? Because that sounds awfully familiar. Yeah, like I mean, it sounds familiar to me.
70 teams.
Yeah, not 60 or 10 or 20,
69.
70.
Not 69.
Yeah,
70. As we told you, Sportico, who has seen a pitch deck now and is reporting on it. It's on my Twitter feed if you'd like to find it. Hey, Monty.
Hey, Monty.
The Monty Show.
On X, formerly known as Twitter.
There will be 8 divisions of 70 teams, including the underleague division.
The underleague.
How come San Diego State's not in the under?
See
what happened. Here are the 70 teams. Notice that they're broken out into divisions, kind of like the NFC North and the AFC East and the AFC. Oh, you mean like an NFL model? Oh, interesting. Wonder why we never thought of that. West, notice the Plains division. Nebraska back in the Big 12, essentially. Let's call the Plains division the Big 12. BYU, Colorado, Iowa. Oh, well, Caitlin Clark. Iowa State. Okay, wait. I real quick opinion here. Stop comparing every basketball player on SportsCenter to Caitlin Clark. Stop. Don't do it. Everybody. Keegan Murray highlights last night because he was on fire, knocking out the Warriors. Oh, shooting it like Caitlin Clark. No, he's in the NBA, sir. All right, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Notice the Big 12 in the Plains. I got 7 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
The Midwest, Cincinnati, Illinois,
the Natty,
Michigan State, Ohio State, all in the Midwest. Look at the South, dudes. We call that the SEC. Bama, Auburn, Georgia. Georgia Tech's not real. Kentucky, Mark Pope, hello. LSU, Ole Miss, Starkville, Tennessee, and Vanderbilt. Oh, thank God.
We're safe.
You look at the Northeast, very interesting that the ACC is now the Northeast Conference. The Southwest is interesting as well. Arkansas, Baylor, Houston, Oklahoma Light, SMU, TCU, Texas A&M, and Tech. That's a hell of a division. That might be the second best division here. Then, of course, the commonsensical thing. And I know we don't do common sense very much on this here program.
On this program.
But what did we tell you? That they were going to have an enclave out west where all of these schools would be back in the same conference division. Arizona State, Cal, Oregon State. Stanford, UCLA, USC, Washington State. It makes total sense. And as we've told you on the showroom, I think this is absolutely the right way to go about this. I think when you look at the College Football Super League, there are only so many ways that I can say this. Is it likely? I wouldn't say it's likely. Does it have a lot of hurdles? It does. But is it going to happen? I think it will.
And why will it happen, though? This is the part that you need to latch on to.
Because what did Sportico report? Now, call me crazy.
Again, Monty,
you don't know shit, Monty. That there will be a financial tiered payment plan for athletes. funneled through NIL, where 5% of all rostered freshmen will get paid, or all rostered freshmen will get paid 5%. 15% goes to all the rostered sophomores, 30% for all the juniors, and 50% for seniors and grad students. How will this be paid? According to Sportico, it's a football player pool, which will come from the Super League's TV money. And the deck also proposes a national broadcast NIL construct whereby players get the pro rata they deserve. So what does that mean? Well, that means that the TV contract and private money are going to come in and fund the Super League. They're going to combine, because as I continue to tell you, and I talked to a TV source yesterday, TV money is not endless. These guys are businessmen who have budgets. And again, I spoke to a person in the TV industry yesterday who point blank told me that all of the TV partners are on board: ESPN, Fox, CBS, and NBC. And there is a streaming component to this, which ESPN's very happy about. But you're looking at Amazon wants to play a major role. Amazon, for the first time, and it is a difference in the way that Amazon is operated. Amazon is being aggressive in trying to get their hands on major college football activity for Amazon Prime Sports. And I think it's exactly the right thing to do. The money is there. It's a matter of getting all of the people sitting at the same table, agreeing to a construct of what this new Super League would look like. My guess is we are still at the bottom of a very steep climb. I think it is going to be very difficult to get there. I think everybody agrees with that. But the idea that the Super League is dead on arrival is completely false. The conversations are happening. The proposals are changing. The exchange of ideas amongst TV partners and these private equity people is happening on a weekly basis. TV, and I want you guys to grasp this because I think it is a really important component. The TV networks are not competing with each other. There has been a fundamental change in the way that they do business. And why is that? Because look how much change has happened at the top of every one of these entities. ESPN with Jimmy Pitaro. You look at all the changes that have happened at Fox, at CBS. Look what happened at the Masters over the weekend. Did anybody notice who's retiring? Not Vern Lundquist, who is retiring. Sean McManus is retiring. That's a huge change at CBS Sports. You have new leadership at NBC. Look at what's going on at Amazon Prime Sports. Completely new leadership team there. There's new blood. There's new energy. There's new appetite to make more money. And streaming has to be a key component. And everybody, for the first time, everybody in sports broadcasting is on board with the fact that streaming has to be a key component. You know what somebody said to me yesterday I thought was very interesting? The Masters may have well changed the game for all of professional sports because their app is spectacular. You cannot take in the entire Masters experience without having the Masters app. You know what else is spectacular about that? You know what we saw for the first time? We saw in the Masters, one of the oldest, one of the most stuck in their ways entities, embracing the fact that patrons can download their app and interact with the tournament live on the course. That is a significant change. The Masters app may well impact things like the College Football Super League, the NBA, certainly the NBA. You look at the way that apps and local TV deals are being done in the NBA, there's going to be a fundamental change in the way that the next NBA contract is delivered to fans. The Masters app. And I hadn't thought about it. I really hadn't, but I think it's genius. And you know who I think knows about this? Mr. Millennial over here. Because what did we watch? How did we watch the Masters this past week? On an iPad. I got a brand new iPad with the Masters app and ESPN Plus. Did not watch it on CBS. We did not watch it on a TV. We watched it on ESPN Plus and the Masters app.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a really good point. A good friend of mine on TV who's a well-placed guy, top of the food chain at a major sports network. Hey, yeah, did you see that the Masters app? Yeah, we saw. We saw. And the best part is this dude works for a company that doesn't have a great app. And they're going to have a great app. And why is that? Yeah, because of the Masters app.
Yeah, I think it's the way.
I think it's absolutely the way.
It's the way. It's how you have to be.
I understand that there are a lot of hurdles, but I will continue to stand on business, boy. It's going to be 70 teams. And what also did Sportico confirm? And not to be a red ass about it, but here, let me be a red ass. That this is only football. The conference structure is not going to change. They say it's 14 teams. I'm telling you, it's 16 teams will make the playoffs. And did anybody notice what Sportico said? What did I tell you? That there will be multiple tiers of playoffs. That when you look at these divisions, there will be an underleague playoff system that starts on Thanksgiving weekend.
Well, look at if you take the banner and the ticker off, there should be a line right at the bottom, like an asterisk line that says right there, that little fine print.
Yes, these 10 teams rotate annually via relegation and promotion.
So what does that mean? Oh, that means that there's a lot of money to be run through because there's going to be drama. People are going to get relegated.
It is a good TV product when you have the relegation piece is going to be a huge fight.
And
I'll just be honest with you.
Let's be really clear. The relegation piece does not apply to anybody who's not in the pink column.
No, all of the teams that are currently in your P5s, P4s, they're all in. They are not facing relegation. But if you look at the structure, I think it's going to be very difficult. And I think the most difficult part of this is how do you have a competition with the NFL if you're college football for the playoff eyes? You know how you do that? You partner with the NFL, which is exactly what I told you they are going to do. I think they are going to use the NFL. I can tell you right now that this private equity, these guys that are trying to push this through, have liaisons with the NFL, according to our sources.
It makes perfect sense. Why would you not latch onto the whale in the industry, right? If you take away the fact that one's pro and one's collegiate, if you just look at it as, hey, it's two football products, one dominates the space pretty much year round. The other one is more seasonal, I would say. Outside of like spring games or this or that, like college football, in my opinion, is seasonal.
Yeah.
And to me, it just makes a lot of sense. And I also think, when you talk about expanding the viewership of college football, what better way to do that than to try to capture the imagination of the hardcore NFL fan, right? Somebody who knows, hey, okay, cool. Like, as an example, wild card weekend in the NFL. What if they could find a way to have college football integrated into wild card weekend? What if it was a thing where wild card weekend took place in prime time and college football was the lead in to the NFL? What if they partnered in that way and you were able to capture some of that NFL audience who is absolutely thirsty for football that day because they know it's wild card weekend? You can't tell me that wouldn't help your viewership. You can't tell me that having your collegiate playoff games on the same day as a wild card weekend-esque, time in the NFL season wouldn't help your viewership. And the other thing with this NFL model going into college football, when this happens, because I think it's a when, and I'm not saying it's soon, but I do think it's an inevitability. I just think that there's too much money to be made. It's too easy of a system to create. Like, it just makes too much sense. So when this happens, whenever it does, you're going to start to see, hey, yeah, it's easier to understand now. We're not going to have what I thought was the right decision, but no matter what you think, a dramatic decision with Florida State being out. We're not going to have that anymore because it's going to be on the football field. So when the Jordan Travises can't stay healthy and you got to play Georgia and you get your ass beat, I don't want to hear from you, Florida State fan. I don't want to hear from anybody who's like, oh, well, they robbed us, because that's not going to take place anymore. It's all on the football field.
Well, and you look at the way these divisions are set up. This is not accidental, folks. There was real thought put into the structure of these divisions, because what you have is 8 divisions. And you are going to have, in my opinion, you are going to have the top two, arguably a wild card system. Like, there's going to be a system that is going to reward those who win games. And it's going to be just like the NFL. It's going to be games won in tiebreakers, and you either qualified or you didn't. There's no more, hey, well, what is Jimmy and Pam sitting around a table? Because that's what y'all wanted. And now that you got it, you don't like it. You don't want it anymore. So this iteration, I think, is really smart. And I think that it happens it happens to be based in what everybody wants, which is relegation and promotion for the G5, which I think has to be a part of it. But you're going to have 70 teams, and my guess is you're going to have 16 teams qualify for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that playoff is going to begin in mid to late December. And I think you are going to have the championship game of college football on Super Bowl Saturday.
And you're able to maintain all your bowl partnerships nationwide.
And the last detail that I will tell you that I was told yesterday was that the NFLPA is a significant advocate for this system, because it supports the health and well-being on a much higher level of college football players.
Yeah.
Which I think is exactly what the NFL needs. You need to bring in more well-prepared, healthy, and mature players to the NFL, because you're starting to see, and we've talked about it. We talked about it yesterday with the draft. You're going to see a number of quarterbacks bust. You're going to see it is going to continue to be a number of high-level draft picks that simply are not prepared mentally and financially to perform at an NFL level.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you, sadly, I learned this firsthand with relationships I've had with a lot of NFL players. When they have issues off the field, they do not perform on Sunday. And whether that is financial, relational, do you know how many college kids are in terrible relationships? Do you think that doesn't apply to football players? Do you know how many high-level college athletes are in dysfunctional relationships with a spouse or significant other? It is an enormous amount, because they're dealing with pressure. They're dealing with success. They're dealing with millions of dollars worth of financial windfall. The moment that they step on a high school football field for their junior and senior year, they don't know how to handle that. Well, this is going to prepare them for that, because the other thing that you're going to see come in with all this new money and this influx of wealth for young people, you are going to see that there is going to be an education piece, and there is going to be a mental and well-being support piece that is going to be injected into this. Because I think everybody, for the first time, finally, we are starting to see the powers that run TV, college football, the NFL, and the NFLPA. And the NFLPA, I think, has always advocated for this.
Mm-hmm.
But you're starting to finally see that we're recognizing that today's 16, 17, 18-year-old is not prepared to be a famous professional athlete. And that again, Caitlin Clark, because everybody wants to compare her to everybody.
Yeah.
Those situations are very rare. But what did Caitlin Clark say? The enormity of being in my position has weighed on me mentally. It's taken a toll on my ability to function daily. Kids at her age don't like being famous. They don't know how to handle it.
Right.
They don't embrace it. You're putting, and I more look at, like, Caitlin Clark comes from a well-to-do home. She's got two parents. She's got infrastructure. She's got family, a boyfriend. Like, how, to me, that's the rare case. I look at a lot of kids now that come from single-parent homes where mom's working two jobs or dad's working two jobs. And whether they're a latchkey kid or they're involved in whatever. And so they show up at college with drug addiction. They show up at college with porn addictions, children, ugly relationships, right? It's this Trevor Bauer story. We need to talk to our kids, women and men, young women and men, about relationships, and we don't. And so you wind up with Trevor Bauer, who, did you guys see the update to that story? the second girl who did, I think, an enormous amount of damage to Trevor Bauer. I think that is why he is not in the major leagues today. A second girl came forward and accused him of assault. She was brought up on fraud charges yesterday. It wasn't true. She made it up, allegedly. Talk to your kids about this stuff, man. Anyway, enough of us, more of you. Hour number 2 of the Monty Show, as always, is brought to you by our friends at Big O Tires and American Fork. Big O Tires and American Fork, your total car care experts. Hook it up, anything you need. Friends, I'm telling you, yes, Big O Tires, an amazing tire brand. I am dealing with this. I still do not have my BMW back. I am still driving a loaner. I bought a very nice BMW X2M, and it's sitting at my dealership because they put on tint and paint protection that was horrifically installed. And so they're having to redo it. And it was supposed to be done yesterday, and it's not done. And it was supposed to be done Monday, and it is not done. I know now that if I take that to Ryan at Big O Tires and American Fork, he did the tint on my Jeep in one day, and it was perfect.
And you know why it was perfect? Because he's a local business owner. He can't afford to screw it up.
That's exactly right.
Every customer for his business matters, and I think that's the big thing here. When it comes down to customer service and the experience you get, when you go to big box, you're just a number. But when you go to small local business owners like Ryan and American Fork at Big O Tires, you're going to get that good experience. And that is why
100%.
That is why you go to him. You go out of your way to go to him.
Yep. All right. Let's get Ryan Willie for $5. Thank you, Ryan. It's not going to happen. Why would the pack implode just to be brought back to life? In my opinion, you're just saying what ESPN tells you to say. Okay, well, the pack's not being brought back to life. I think the pack imploded because of horrendous management. You had 2 commissioners that were, in my opinion, completely incompetent and inept, and could not negotiate TV deals. You're not bringing the pack back to life. What you're doing is creating new revenue streams and new ways to make money. And what you're talking about, obviously, is the Western Front. But if you put all of these teams back in the fold here, what you're telling me is you believe that this is the resurrection of the Pac-12. You might be right. But the Pac-12 is never coming back.
And notice the Pac-12 didn't fold because the product sucked. The Pac-12 folded because they were awful at managing the conference.
Correct. They folded by it is still. I'll say the same thing I always say when we talk about the implosion of the Pac-12. I can't believe it happened. Can't believe it. It was a financial gold mine. And they just couldn't figure out how to get the gold out of the ground, man. And it is as simple as you couldn't even stream your games on an app. You couldn't hire officials and make rules and regulations to have good officiating. You had lawyers calling the replay booth. You were spending millions and millions of dollars on hotel rooms and Front Street offices in San Francisco. Are you out of your mind? This is not about the Pac-12 coming back, my man. It's about what that is realignment on a common sense basis, which isn't having Stanford and Cal in the ACC, which isn't having UCLA, USC, Washington, and Oregon traveling to the East Coast multiple times a year. Like if you look at this, it's common sense. Look at in what it is, and I continue to say this, and I know nobody gives a rip about what I say. It's an NFL structure. Do you have the Chicago Bears playing Seattle and the Rams every other week? You don't. But do they play? Do they rotate around the country regionally every year? Yeah, they do. That's exactly what you're going to get here. You're going to get USC and Alabama. Why? Because the fans need it. It'll make you a ton of money.
Yep.
It's good for the game. But you don't want USC and Alabama playing in Tuscaloosa and Los Angeles every year. You don't want that. You don't want USC and Michigan playing in Ann Arbor and Los Angeles every year. Don't want that. That's not healthy for the kid, and that's not healthy for the programs, and not healthy for the current conference structure. So this is not bringing the Pac-12 back.
And I'm curious where you get off thinking that ESPN tells us to say things. Like, I'm not really sure
why would ESPN give a rat's ass about what we say?
I'm not really sure what
your
connection there is, or what.
I should be so lucky to have guy at ESPN being like, "Hey, Monty, here's what you're going to say on the show today."
Yeah, like I just.
Do you know how much later I would sleep if it's like, "All right, Monty, here's your script today, bud."
Yeah, we'll turn it on 2 minutes before we're supposed to start. Like, it's.
Are you out of your mind?
Come on, dude.
Which is fine. I appreciate the $5. Thank you, and thanks for being here. Aaron Wilson gifted a Monty Show membership. Let's go, Skippy. Mike Smith, the problem is getting all the teams, ADs, presidents, and conference commissioners to get on the same page. So many egos to work with. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. UW fan Jim, are you still a Jim? Oh, Jim Rome. That's why you're a Jim Rome fan.
I still have no idea where you can listen to, buddy.
On X, formerly known as Twitter,
I guess.
I love the idea. No more biased experts that have not seen half the teams play. Wins and losses will be all that matters, which I think is exactly what Florida State wants. Loner phone. Federal courts will help everyone sit down and hash out the final agreement. Maybe, because this is a really good point. And I have trouble saying that about loner phone, but this is a really good point. I still maintain what I've said all along. The tipping point here is going to be the lawsuits. The retroactive pay that the NCAA and these conferences and universities that make up the NCAA are going to have to shell out to football players and basketball players and stick and ball sport guys and gals.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to make the Super League happen. Everybody seems to forget that there's a chance, because I don't see the NCAA winning any of these NIL suits. I don't even know how you would.
Yeah.
You'll be insolvent financially if you lose them all. You'll be insolvent. And I'm just asking, if the NCAA as a structure and a governing body goes away, it won't. But let's say, because that's what everybody tells you, oh, Monty, the NCAA is going away. Well, who makes up the NCAA? Me and you, right? Because we work at ESPN now.
Apparently.
Or no, they just tell us what to say.
Yeah.
The members, institutions, all these universities. You want to know who makes up the NCAA, you guys? There they are right there. That's the entire
thing.
That's the list.
Yeah.
There, you want to know who the NCAA is? That's it right there. All those, that's the NCAA. And I don't know how people don't understand that.
Yeah.
That's the NCAA right there. So is what it is, man. Is what it is. But I think the lawsuits, loaner phone, I think you're exactly right. Atlanta in the NFC West. Exactly. Thank you. The eye patch. ESPN is the overlord. Yeah, they tell us what to say.
Apparently. They plan the whole show.
It's good to know that that's why you're saying what you're saying, because they're telling you to say that.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I mean, my asinine takes are just straight from ESPN.
I was talking to Pete Thamel the other day.
Dude, Pete Thamel was giving me all my takes, and while we're at it, I mean, I might as well admit that, we're, Yahoo Sports tells us what to say too. That's how we get,
I was talking to the guys at Sporting News. They gave me my script and I said to them, cool story, bro. Now make me a sandwich.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm glad that we're all on the same page. You know what I mean? At least now it all makes sense. It all adds up.
Yeah. Eric Wasikowski still going at Mike Smith. It's like they had an underwater basket weaving grad help them with their geography in the NFL. Well, Michigan alums do have jobs in many places. John Hamm, our newest. Wow. Trigger Jake.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Don't you dare diss New Mexico State.
Man, wow.
Aaron Wilson simply says John Hamm. Welcome aboard, Mr. Hamm. Yes, if you guys haven't joined our membership, firstly, why is my garage door opening right now?
I don't know. Let's take a look.
I just got an alert that
Monty, the ESPN guys are here.
Because my wife's amazing. I'm guessing she is putting out the garbage. My wife it's Tuesday night.
Wednesday.
And I ignored we have the little A word that says, don't forget to put your trash cans out.
Yeah.
So that's
you were too busy breaking our launch monitor
later. Anyway, join our membership. We have huge fights in the group. We talk sports in the group. We coalesce around pain and suffering of the Chicago Cubs in the group.
Every day.
It's $10 a month to be a member of our members only content. That gets you into our Instagram group. Join, select members only content, then DM Jake on Instagram, SLC Jake, and he'll put you into our members only Instagram chat. And it is a wild ride. John Hamm says, happy to join. Welcome to the show, John Hamm. Now I need to create an Instagram account. Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, you do. The eye patch. Kid probably believes windmills cause cancer, right? Well, I mean, Monty, Jim Harbaugh, he had to feed those kids those cheeseburgers. They were hanging out around windmills.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, the chemtrails that come off those windmills are incredible.
They were out of foil for their windows.
Yeah.
They lost their protective suit. OG Gary, the garage door opens so they can slip you the script for tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, you know, ESPN's just telling you what to like.
I mean, Norby got fired, so now he's rolling up to the garage.
We've had some wild shit said in the comment section on this show, but in my opinion, you're just saying what ESPN tells you to say.
Well,
I'm glad you think so highly of the Showgram. Tanner Plummer. Yeah, the D-backs walking off against. Shut up.
Why would you say that?
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.